Hello, Internet. I'm Richard, co-host of Karl and Richard Present Deep Space and Dragons.
And I am Karl, co-host of Richard and Karl Present Deep Space and Dragons.
I like how much of a loop that threw you through. Like, I heard your face cracking at that. So, as we get into our typical things, for new-time viewers starting on episode 100 and something, we talk about stuff. We be professional yackers. We yap. Yap. I guess I technically have credentials.
Yeah, I don't know if I'm a professional yapper. I'm a professional listener sometimes.
I mean, the other day when talking about you behind your back to a third party, you are considered media illiterate versus some of their friends that are media illiterate.
Wow, so, that's quite good, I guess.
So, fourth-year English students believe you to be English literate. Media literate. And remember, media literacy isn't the same as, like, do you speak English? It's like, oh, you can actually understand things behind things. Words can have two meanings. It's crazy.
Well, that's very nice that your educated friends think so of me.
Like, it's entirely possible. But I digress. What's new in the Karl infosphere of Dune?
Well, interestingly enough, I don't have a movie review. I actually managed to go a whole week without watching a movie this time.
Oh no, it's actually super serious. Shit, now I'm worried.
Well, I mean, who knows? Maybe it is serious, but that's probably not serious.
Okay, so what's new in the Karlverse is nothing, which is such a red flag, like crimson.
No. It's just mostly more medical stuff, which as Richard is aware, I was attacked by some migratory vampires. They were heading north for the winter because longer nights makes sense.
Turns out they were thralls. I looked this up.
They were thralls.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, dang it. Well, that's concerning because I mean they managed to curse my spleen.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, it's getting my spleen removed is not the only option for removing said curse. But it sounded like the best option. Like it had the highest chances of completely fixing the issue. So the hematologist referred me to the surgeon. I don't know what specific discipline the surgeon does.
Sanguimancer.
But and so actually, just today, whatever day that you're listening to this podcast, I had a consultation.
That does such timeline fuckery. So, like, recently on a date, I was talking about how the sword in Bleach that sends you into someone's backstory causes so many logistic troubles. Like, they'll have a character flashback to 200 years, but they'll be in normal Tokyo. So, if it's, when you hear this is what happened on the day, no issue. But you're using time manipulation to change when listening to this episode to happen after this consultation happened, which causes some chronological issues. Please continue breaking our timeline.
Well, so I mean, consultations are kind of like boring. They just ask you all your medical history, and then they're like, okay, you know, your spleen is in your belly, so they gotta prod the belly to see whether or not anything's tender or whatever. And then they're like, yeah, okay, so what was the word? Spleenist? That doesn't sound quite right. But I guess there's a specialist, or was a specialist, who dealt with spleens. I'm assuming the vampires got to him. But the specialist for spleens in Saskatoon has retired.
Oof.
Oof. Which isn't to say that I can't get the surgery, but if my spleen is too big, then I will have to go to Regina for my surgery because there's no spleen specialist in Saskatoon.
That's such a Saskatoon thing to have a specialist and they're not there.
Well, I mean, I don't know how you specialize in the spleen. I don't know how common this procedure is. I haven't really done that much research. Maybe I should do some more.
I don't know. The way the internet is right now, people might be like, spleen ain't real. Liberal lie.
But So I mean, the consultation was boring, but coincidentally, well, maybe coincidentally, maybe it's actually related. I don't know. But my left eye is acting all wonky.
Oh.
And so I go in there and I'm like, yeah, so my eye's acting all wonky. And they're like, yeah, we'll call down to the emergency, see if they can take a look at it. And if they can't, then you should go to like FYI doctors.
And you're doing a
get them to
podcast.
take a look at it. Well, you don't need eyes to do a podcast.
Technically, no.
I'm not
All right,
watching
fair
myself.
enough. And apparently, if I learned anything from Adara, you can just plug in some new one USB style.
Yeah, well, I mean, that would be pretty sick. You get a new eyeball, but so I finished my consultation. There was not really any news. They're just like, yeah, you're getting your spleen taken out to deal with this ITP thing. I wish there was a V in the acronym. That would be so much easier, so much nicer for my story.
Yeah. Okay. Fair enough.
Anyway, and then so then I go to the optometrist. I guess optometrists are not medical doctors; they're just regular doctors.
Sure.
Yeah, that's just. Well, no. So I go there, and they're like, "Okay, we'll see if the doctor has time to see you." And then they did, but just barely because they close at 5 p.m. and I got there at like 3, so I had to wait pretty much right till 5. And then the doctor was nice enough to see me and do like all the eye exam stuff, and then they're like, "All right, we think we know what's going on, but we're going to call the ophthalmologist, which is the medical eye doctor."
Okay.
Yeah, that's what I don't know. I didn't think that optometrists were doctors at all, but apparently they actually are genuine doctors.
I kind of knew that because one time I had like an eye sty thing, and I'm like, I could either go to a walk-in or go to the glasses person and be like, is there an optometrist in? I just want them to look at my face and tell me if I should go get medical treatment. Worked really well. They told me exactly what it was and how to handle it. I'm like, oh, this was super efficient. What?
Like, yeah, I mean, that's basically the hospital told me to talk to the optometrist so that they could refer me to the ophthalmologist to get the medical treatment. So it's kind of like the optometrist is the entry-level eye doctor, I guess.
Oh, okay.
I don't know.
Note, if you're getting medical advice from Deep Space and Dragons, don't.
You've come to the wrong place. I do think it's valuable for listeners to hear about people's experiences in the medical system. But definitely not the place
we have
for
to always
actual
be like,
genuine advice.
We're storytellers, not professionals, and this is a comedy podcast, so like, that just sometimes I feel the need. It's like you made a statement, like consultations were boring. I'm like, did you want like Who Wants to Be a Millionaire, where they ask you a question and then it gives you a percentage of success, like in Star Trek, based on how many you get right on your consultation questions?
Well, I mean, it really helps. My mindset is very, like, this is a very serious thing, but I'm also very relaxed about it. Like, it's just with the way my mindset is. So I have an easy time absorbing the information and being like, okay, this surgery gives me the highest odds of actually beating this ITP. And then even if it does fail for some reason, I'll be down a spleen, but there are still at least other options that are less desirable to me. But
well, they say that like when you're more relaxed when you fall out of an airplane and you don't tense up, you're more likely to survive.
Well, yeah, and like as a fun fact about that as well, if you're drunk driving and you get into an accident, because you're drunk, you don't tense up, and the person who's drunk ends up tending to survive the crash more easily because they don't tense up in response to the accident, and most of the other people end up not surviving, which is terrible all around. But that's, like you say, the more relaxed you are, the less damage you receive from shocking things like accidents.
Makes me
and
think
bad
of something
news.
we talked about pre-stream, where it's like, see, whenever there's a problem, there's an opportunity. Because on one hand, you're losing your spleen, right? On the other hand, you're now gaining the ability to gift a pickled spleen to somebody on your will.
I don't know. Are they going to let me keep it? I don't know. But back to the ophthalmologist. I mean, the story is pretty much done. There's not much there to it. Just that apparently it is whatever's going on is serious enough that the ophthalmologist wants to see me tomorrow morning.
And you're doing a podcast.
So, well, I'm not. I don't think I'm dying.
I mean, what else are you gonna do? Like,
yeah.
So,
yeah.
like, I was watching the new season of Kaiju number 8. Weird tangent, but like, they just got to the part with Bayonet Kaiju contact lens guy, right?
Mm.
And I'm like, wait, an anime eye power that actually involves vision? It's been so many years. Because they're like, Gojo's god eyes don't do eye things at all.
No, they do not.
They apparently give him math powers. So I'm like, wait, an eye power made from something's eyes that make you see better? That's just insane. That is weird anime. Remember when Sharingan was about, like, tripping people because your eyes look trippy and copying things?
and not about summoning meteorites?
Or controlling magnets or shrinky dinks?
So what's new with you there, Richard?
So, other than the fact I need to, like, finish updating my health card and go get myself a checkup, because new job means new benefits, which means I need to spend my new benefits.
Right, obviously.
But it's like, so I start a new comms job soon. I have 4 chapters left of this novel I'm ghostwriting before I start doing editing labs. And it's like, I was going to be useful Monday and Tuesday, but just kind of wasn't. And I think it's like, people like to say when you have ADHD, if you have a meeting booked, then that time between now and that meeting, you just can't do anything, and that'd be insane. So it's kind of been my week where I'm like, I know intellectually the new job is going to be me going through 4 or 5 online training modules and clicking next.
Right.
But, like, my brain had, like, no focus today, and I'm like, you probably noticed this about me, the more projects I have and the more stress I'm under, the better my productivity is.
Right.
So I'm hoping when I have, like, things to do, it'll kick me back into turbo gear. Although I did realize in a casual chat with a friend earlier today that I've written 5 full-length books. Like, I published 2, but I started writing 5 years ago, and I have, like, 6 manuscripts. I'm like, it's not like, for how much I say I'm a slacker, I'm at least accomplishing things I'm supposed to be doing.
Yeah, a book a year is pretty good.
Yeah. When people are like, I've worked on this book for 50 years, I'm like, that sounds rough, buddy.
Oh, and how do you even keep everything straight for that long? Like, jeez.
I was going to make some joke about how writers are bad at being straight to begin with. It was something. It was a thing I was reading about how, I think it was Brian Stoker, like, sent his height, weight, and age and all this information to an author he had a crush on. And it's like, did he just, like, mail his Grindr profile in the ye old 1800s? Like, you get, like, some of these old writers being like, history says they were pals, and the letter's like, and I licked the glue for a lingering taste of you. I'm like, yeah, that's straight people doing straight things.
Licked the glue for a lingering taste.
Yeah.
Sheesh.
That's just a famous published thing.
Creepy.
For between 2 gal pals who are pals.
Just pals.
Nothing says just pals like the phrase lingering taste. Ugh. But yeah, like, most of the new with me is pretty much identical to when we recorded last week of big chillin' until I have to start doing things. Like, I had to do a lot of college paperwork today. I filled in my course selection surveys, which is funny. So you go to a big university like U of T or U of S, and you probably remember, like, the course book and picking the courses in this big elaborate like conspiracy board you had to do to assemble your schedule. So I get to my master's program at a bigger school than my bachelor's, and I'm expecting to have to, like, put together this cork board, right? They send an email with 4 PDFs. In the PDF is about 12 classes, and it's like, in each of these boxes, rate them 1, 2, and 3, and we'll try and give you your first picks. I'm like, there's no digital system, there's no sign, I just type numbers on this PDF and send it back? Yay, master's program. I was so happy that no effort had to go into this whatsoever. I'm like, rate these in order, fiction or nonfiction. I'm like, fiction and nonfiction? So it's like, out of 10 classes, I take 8.
Huh.
So it's like, oh, all of them look good, and I don't care what I get. This is the easiest course selection of my life, because I'm like, oh no, don't make me take creative nonfiction as I'm professionally writing creative nonfiction. Although, to be fair, I would be a smug batard in that class.
Okay, so do you have any issues with scheduling? Like, because when I was signing up for my courses in university, the biggest issue was finding time slots for all your stuff, especially like certain courses with my program were like a specific time slot, and so it's like you couldn't take any electives in that time slot because you had to be taking music history or music theory.
Masters is slick. So our classes are only for us, the 20 of us in the master's program.
Okay.
So you can't screw it up. It's like the first semester, it looks like I have class Monday, and I either have it Tuesday and Wednesday or Monday and Wednesday.
Oh,
and there's just like no room for error. I just do the thing.
Well, but then they're also expecting you to do undergraduate student work with like potentially teaching small portions of classes.
Thing. So I don't know how long I'll be there, but also because my day job is remote asynchronous work when I want, and my book contracts are remote asynchronous work when you want. There's a version of reality where, like, no matter when my classes fall, I can just chill in the library, do my day job, and go home.
Right.
So even if I have to make this full 2-hour commute every day, and I end up going there Monday to Friday, I'm such a slacker that I'm still fine with plenty of free time.
Fair enough.
Since writing this novel takes me 6 hours a week, and my other job is 10 to 24 hours a week, worst case, I occasionally have to not have a full 48-hour weekend where I do nothing. Have I mentioned how much easier my life is than when I was a cook? Like, if I'm so happy I suffered before I went back to school, because it's like, things people complain about are such non-issues to me. They're like, could you imagine putting in 10-hour days? I'm like, oh no, not a 10-hour day. Just 10 hours? That's not 4 p.m. to 4 a.m.
Yeah, that's...
Like, I hear people be like, I have 2 classes in a day, and that's 6 hours of sitting still. I'm like... I just have a flashback to be like, no, I'm pretty sure that's how I went through Gundam Seed, with 6-hour sessions of sitting still, like...
Yeah, it's... From my perspective, working those long hours, I don't like to belittle people's struggles, because your personal struggles are real.
I love to belittle people's struggles.
I do have hard time sympathizing with people who, they work a 6-hour shift and they come home and they're like, oh, I'm so tired. And it's like, oh, really?
Well,
so you're scheduled for like 30 hours a week, huh?
So I'm a fan of trying to help people with problems. But if people don't want to be helped, I become just such a sarcastic twat. So it's like, if someone has a legitimate concern, I'll be like, okay, call this number, talk to this person, try and get this funding. Let's see what we can do to stabilize and fix your life.
Right.
But if someone looks me in the eyes like, you don't understand, well, like a professor will be like, do you know what life's like in the real world? I'm like, I'm a peasant, born into a poor family, whose hands don't work, who decided to be a writer. I don't feel particularly like I need to learn about the real world. Like, my day job was doing precision chopping with hands that didn't work.
Right.
Think about that. Someone whose hands don't work, using knife skills to make a living. There is just a collage of terrible choices going. So, like, as a general rule, if someone comes to me with a problem, I'll try and fix it. If they come to me with a not problem, and I'll try and fix it, before I realize, I'm like, I hate to say this, but the problem's you, bud. 6 hours just ain't that hard. I think you need to, like, I don't know, lose some weight so it puts less pressure on your feet. Maybe take a yoga class, go out for more walks. You know what people don't like when they're like, oh, my life is so hard, you suggesting exercise and dieting. That's not what anyone wants to hear. That's not what they're asking you. They're not actually asking you anything, Karl.
No, they aren't really asking you anything. They just want to vent about their personal issues, I guess.
Like, could you imagine if you're like, I'm having blood problems, and I'm like, well, it's because you drink too much cola. You should remove that from your diet, idiot. That does seem to be a lot of people's approach to things. But my actual approach would be go to a doctor. You're like, I'm going to a doctor. Good job. Should I look it up online? No. You should maybe like look up actual medical things. If you want to look it up on like Sask Health's website or like the University of Saskatchewan, like if you want to find like papers on this or professionals or textbooks, like if you want to actually look it up, like go to the library and say, I'd like to find a actual source on this disease to look up, sure. Do not ChatGPT your disease, and do not Reddit your disease.
Oh, Dr. Google says it's cancer every time. 100%.
Or lupus.
It's never lupus, except for the one time that it was.
Well, it's funny, because it's like, working on the thing I'm working on now, they're like, yes, ask for second opinions and information, but not from Dr. Google. Go on like the Cancer Web Society and other societies that study these diseases.
Oh, the worst is with the increase of AI, and so they do those like AI summaries.
Yet that's not the thing that pisses me off the most. You know what drives me nuts? So I spend a lot of time on LinkedIn because it's actually my favorite social media.
Okay.
Because you can't be as much of a belligerent asshole on LinkedIn.
Right, because it's for professionals.
Yeah, so like you'll go onto LinkedIn Daggerheart, for example, and they'll be like, look at our new product. Looks awesome. Sounds great. You look at the same launch on Reddit and they'll be like, I'm going to have to use up a lot of swears in upper age rating, but they'll be like, Critical Role are a bunch of selfish cucks trying to steal D&D's money to make their own profit. I'm like, you found them. You had to Google Daggerheart to complain about this. Research went into you finding and hunting them down to complain about this. Like, they announced, like, Matt Mercer's not DMing the next season of Critical Role. He gets to be a player.
Oh.
And I'm like, that's great. Tell more people they should let their GMs be players. That's directly relevant to my interests. And they're having Brendan Lee Mulligan do it, who's delightful. I think I've sent you his video where he pretends to be the Oreo CEO losing his mind over Oreo varietals.
Oh, that guy. Yeah, okay.
That guy's great, right? So I'm like, I'm excited. People are like, are they going to play D&D or their new game? And I'm like, honestly, I'm going to lose a lot of respect for them if they sell it of their new game, but they don't believe in it enough to make that their show. You know, like, imagine if the Pokemon Company decided that World Pokemon Championships was to be played using Digimon instead. Like, yeah, you show you don't care about, like, that's bad. But my quips aside, you go on LinkedIn and people are like, yeah, positivity. You go on other social medias, hate. But what they've been doing on LinkedIn is people will write what I call nobody asked for it contest posts. Well, they'll give a big monologue about their field. Like, they'll be like, here's my thoughts on creativity or copy editing or whatever, right? But these Chad bros will write this article on creativity and put an AI-generated image in front of it. And I'm like, dude, if you're telling... like, I was so annoyed looking at this morning because I'm like, so you're like, here's 10 ways to be creative. The AI image tells me the text is AI. But more importantly, you didn't need an image for your post. Who is this for? You could just use text. Like, if I write a post being like, hey, I'm excited to be taking on new projects. Here's my commission sheet, like an actual LinkedIn post I'd write, right? Hi, I just graduated, recent graduate, looking for some contract work. Here's my portfolio. Why would I AI generate a picture? I'm a writer. Like, I might, like, if I really wanted to be pretty with it, I might take, like, a picture of the kids' book I wrote with AG Nonsuch, where I'm like, yeah, this is, like, a beautiful sample. I'll put that in because it's pretty. But, like, imagine I AI generate, like, me riding a dragon and use that. I'm like, why would I do that, though? It was text. Yeah. That's my mini rant of what's new with me, is getting angry at social media while being a relatively successful writer who admittedly spent too much money last month and just kind of gets to be broke till payday. Well, it's like I'm a professional...
happen.
Well, it's like, yes, I survived on being a writer. I'm a professional writer. It is my career. Did I agree to do some weeding for somebody this weekend for a couple extra bucks? Yes. Yeah. I'm not going to say no. I need a couple extra bucks. Sure. I'm a writer. That's not exactly a field you go into to make cash money. The fact I can make cash money is quite frankly amazing. Yup. But that's what's new with me. Also, it's hot outside.
Well, that's not new.
Oh yeah, I guess I also ran some Daggerheart today to playtest some stuff against a friend. But that'll be more for our other stream. I'm just kind of plugging that we also do a Richard and Karl play Daggerheart stream. You should check that out.
That we do.
But let's pivot into what they're here for. Us yapping about things. So, I'm going to just see where the snowballs, because our topic's kind of loosey-goosey. First time I noticed that characters had races in anime. So in anime, you look at like Goku and characters, and you don't actually think American or Caucasian when watching a cartoon, right? Like you don't think Caucasian or Japanese. So I was watching Full Metal Panic, which still holds up. I enjoy Full Metal Panic. And there's a scene where a character goes, "Oh right, we're gonna do a hostage exchange. Send the Caucasian woman over, then the Japanese one." And I'm like, wait, they're drawn identically. It didn't occur to me that they were different races till this moment. And the reason I bring this up is watching dubbed Yu-Gi-Oh! As a kid on Fox Kids and YTV. Bandit Keith is just such an exceptionally funny concept when he's dubbed in a show that's already American. Because you watch Yu-Gi-Oh! Growing up, right? And you assume everyone in it's already American or Canadian or whatever because you're a kid watching it and you don't know the difference between anime and cartoon. And he's wearing an American flag, going in America, the most American of Americans, pulling guns on people and robbing them over card games like a good American should. And it got so much funnier when I realized that this is how the mangaka of Yu-Gi-Oh! Saw Americans in general. And it filled me with joy. So that's our topic, is how anime views Americans. Because I don't know why. I was just thinking about Bandit Keith when the new chapter of Chainsaw Man came out. And I'm going to hand the mic to you for that.
Oh man, Chainsaw Man. It's it's apolitical for the most part. Like it doesn't really focus much on politics. As Richard has said in the past on our podcast, the main theme of the show is
adolescence
puberty,
and depression.
Basically. Adolescence, puberty, romance, depression. Like it's
a lot.
But America has a rich history of war, basically.
Yep.
And I mean, I should have seen it coming, but the latest chapter, the Americans, they manage. Chainsaw Man has a strange ability where when he eats other devils, people forget about them. They forget about their fears of whatever that devil was.
Yeah, it's like if he eats a devil, the thing that devil represents disappears. So it's not just they like forget about it. It's like if he eats the hatchet devil, there just are no more hatchets.
Which isn't to say, apparently, that people can't reinvent a hatchet.
That was a spicy plot twist, by the way, because that actually reconstructed a lot of things.
Because, so apparently America reinvented the nuclear bomb after the War Devil was eaten. And so the new War Devil is like, oh man, I love America because they have made me beautiful and sexy and powerful by reinventing weapons of mass destruction. Like I
read into that line a little further too, where it's like, I thought I loved Chainsaw Man, but I love America. I just love the line that America made war sexy, and you think about every movie America's put out for the last 100 years, and like, unironically, they go out of their way to make war a truly awful thing, a sexy concept. They're like, the best thing you could be is a veteran who shot 30 starving kids on the Gaza border. That's the best person you can be. And they are a hero and deserve our full respect.
Well, I mean, that's true. A lot of war movies are highly romanticized in that way. I mean, there are definitely some much more accurate movies.
But there's also the existence of Michael Bay.
But I mean, actual like realistic war movies. I don't think they have a huge mainstream audience. There is enough of an audience that a really good one will be successful, but
Well, it's like every Marvel movie is
Self-relief.
pro-U.S. military somehow.
Yeah, that's true too.
Like, they're like, yeah, we're going to build these flying aircraft characters that can shoot everyone from everywhere. And the only problem with that was it was invaded by Nazis. That's the only reason this is bad. Otherwise, it's just a good plan to have flying death fortresses built with taxpayer money.
Yeah, I mean, S.H.I.E.L.D. is basically, like, obviously, hopefully their ideals don't line up with Nazis, but, like...
But they kind of do.
Yeah.
Like, you look at America right now, it's not a hard sell for someone to tell me that S.H.I.E.L.D. could get corrupted if, like, a particular group of political figures decided to fund it a certain way.
But, I mean, the point of the matter is that with this historical context of how America has gone throughout the world, they do have a very pro-military stance, and I think that is it's kind of a surface-level assessment of Americans in general as gun-loving warmongers. But that does seem to be a significant amount of how Japan and anime views America.
And the thing is, like, when I think about it, it's just like, you look at All Might, who's trying to be like the most American character in a manga, in anime, and he's a Japanese dude that dresses up in red, white, and blue, and then punches criminals in super bombastic ways. And quite frankly, that's just hilarious to me, that they didn't actually make him American. Like, they made him blonde hair, blue eyes, and, like, all his attacks are named after states, but they didn't actually commit to making All Might an American, which is wild to me. Could you imagine if I dressed up as Samurai Man, and my whole entire theme was samurai-based powers, and I ran around... Oh, wait, we called that Iron Fist, and that happened.
Danny Rand was the worst.
Cultural appropriation, the dude, in the tackiest way.
Oh, man. Yeah, it's just kind of, that latest chapter of Chainsaw Man was just, like, that's what a statement to make in the current political era.
Another statement was when there was that Death Note sequel, and the U.S. president just gives in to the Kira. Just straight up. Just folds. Man, I think we've talked about how the main character was done dirty in that series. Only because the Shinigami cheated. That's some bullshit. You don't get to add new rules to your Death Note because you don't like how the guy played. That takes the strategy aspect completely out. That's as bad writing as it was all a dream. If you set up explicit rules to something and make it like a thriller, and then change the rules, that is as bad as it just being a dream. That is as bad as your alien child comes back from the future to solve the negotiation. Like,
but the series itself was pretty interesting because the kid with the Death Note, he doesn't actually want to kill anyone, but he knows that people who have interact with the Shinigami in the past can still see Shinigami, so he sends a Shinigami on live television to hold a piece of paper saying that Kira's back and that he's going to sell the Death Note, and then he actually just sells it to the highest bidder, which happens to be America,
which doesn't surprise anybody.
right. And then this is a fairly American response too. The Shinigami gets there, he's like, okay, there's actually a new rule. Whoever sells the Death Note, they die when they receive payment. And if you accept the Death Note, you die when you accept it. So basically, there's like, yeah, we don't like the fact that this guy outwitted us and decided to sell the Death Note, so we're just going to make it so that doesn't happen again. And then the American president is like, well, I guess I'm not going to take the Death Note because I don't want to die. But we're going to say we did so we can control the world. I mean, not in so many words, but like just the fact that they have the Death Note and can potentially kill anyone they want at any moment. I mean, the amount of influence you would get from being a country that has that kind of power.
Well, it's kind of funny is, A, they kind of have that power already, really. But
that's true.
Another example is in Baki, they literally just straight up put in Obama and Trump. Like, they didn't even try and hide it. They just called him Tramp or Trump. And then
Really?
Yujiro shows up and just calls him a little bitch and made them swear fealty because every U.S. president who comes in as part of their non-aggression pact with this martial artist has to vow an act of friendship to him. So there's literally just a scene in Canon Baki where Yujiro Hama meets with President Trump and Elon Musk and threatens to rape both of them. That is a thing that got published in Baki. And then held them both by their heads. That is just a scene that happened in their series. Is this martial artist just goes and straight up threatens them. If Trump knew about this, it would devastate him. To the point where I've sent you this picture, this screen grab from actual Baki on it, to take a look.
That's pretty funny.
That is so good. That's kind of what prompted this episode. As I'm reading this, I'm like, wow, they're not even pretending. That's just straight up Trump being destroyed by this long-running martial arts manga for no reason, and I love it.
Actually,
you see, I love free speech. And free speech means you can have a martial artist threaten the president.
You know, actually, somehow, I don't know how this slipped my mind. Actually, probably because the medical news was more pressing.
What? No way. That's weird. If you call yourself a nerd.
I've been reading this manhwa on Webtoon called Eliseed. I don't know if that's how you pronounce it. Eleeceed. I don't know.
Yeah.
That's the name.
Okay, found it.
And it's a fairly generic Korean story. You know, normal kid realizes he has awakened powers, meets his mentor, and gets drawn into this shadow world of high-powered martial arts superhero or superpowered martial arts people. Mm-hmm. Now, the first thing that set it apart, though, it gives me mad the Breaker vibes. Like nice. the mentor is laying low after picking a fight with the wrong people. But the main thing that sets us apart is in order to lay low, he accidentally creates a new awakened skill that lets him turn into a cat.
Nice.
And so now he's just this fat orange cat. But he was all injured, and so then our main character, Ji-woo, for the first 100 chapters or so, his defining characteristic is that he loves cats.
Cat.
And so he finds this injured cat in the alleyway, and he takes it home, nurses it back to health. And then the cat's like, yeah, you know, I'm actually a talking cat, and actually I'm a super martial artist, and you were super nice to me, so I'm going to mentor you.
I like that. That feels like it ignored some plot contrivance that normally finds its way into things.
I guess, actually, the other reason he wanted to mentor this kid is because the kid already had an awakened power of super speed.
There it is.
And he just didn't know it. Okay. And then it turns out that this kid is like a super genius, and 300 chapters in now, he's like within the top 100 of global rankings of all awakened people. But as the scope of the series has grown, like it starts out just being in Korea.
Yep.
And then it moves on to the World Academy, and then it moves on like this global ranking system. Firstly, I have no idea how South Korea in particular views America, because in all of the series that I've been reading on Webtoon, it just doesn't come up. And this is the series where it would make the most sense for America to come up because of how the global scale of it.
It's kind of interesting. It's like when My Hero had a character role in Star and Stripes, like, I'm the top hero in America. And I'm just like, just from logistics and numbers, and this rarely comes up in anime, when you go to a global scale and you just look at population numbers, if we have a mutant superpower situation, America and China would be ridiculous. Like, just from sheer mathematics and odds, right?
Right.
Like, you get to soul leveling brought up, it's like, here's the top ones from Korea, Japan, and America. It's like the American ones would be ridiculous just from sheer numbers.
Yeah, like they're just way more likely to have more high rank awakened people.
Also, a country that decides its funding based on how good you are at throwing a ball would truly be ridiculous in the superpower lottery world. It's a place that fundamentally believes the gifts you're born with are the most important thing about you as a person.
But yeah, that is. I mean, I guess it's good for authors not to get out of their depths and make these sorts of stereotypes willy-nilly about America and other countries.
I mean, counterpoint, Lieutenant Surge. But... You take one look at Lieutenant Surge, like, that's an American.
Well, even still, like you say, as a kid, watching these animes, reading these comics, reading these mangas, everyone's basically drawn the same. Anime is simultaneously very racist and yet not racist because race almost never actually plays a role.
Well, I have to do a shout out here. Anime is extremely racist when they have the ability to draw someone of a different race. Because, oof. There's some particular groups that anime's like, alright, we're going to have all these ninjas look the same. This one we have to paint in with giant lips. Just this one. It's like, that's not how these people work. It's like, no. We just have to every time.
Yeah. Generally speaking, anime characters are very homogenous. Mm-hmm. But then every now and then they do throw in race, and it's super interesting for us in North America to see what they think about Canadians or Americans, or like what does G Gundam have to say about America? Like,
I love G Gundam. So G Gundam is from a different time, and yes, G Gundam is racist. It's hard to argue otherwise, but it's stunning racist.
It gives such awesome gems like the Nether Gundam, the Gundam from the Netherlands that's shaped like a giant windmill.
The Tequila Gundam from Mexico with its sombrero and exploding maracas. America's Gundam that's a Rock'em Sock'em robot, but that's not when they threw the shade at America. So America's Gundam basically being Optimus Prime with boxing gloves and a surfboard, not that stereotypical. The most American thing in G Gundam, possibly the best moment in anime. So in G Gundam, all the space colonies look like the countries for some reason.
Okay.
They're just country shaped. America except is shaped like a star. Because it can be.
Okay.
They deploy the Statue of Liberty cannon. So the Statue of Liberty, which is attached to their space cannon, separates off. The torch lights up, and their most powerful weapon is the Statue of Liberty cannon, which is a high-powered beam cannon built into the torch of the Statue of Liberty in the Neo-America space colony that looks like America but is star-shaped. There is nothing more American than taking a French gift, claiming it to be the most American thing, and putting a death laser on it. That is just perfection. I couldn't write something that good. That is such a scathing, nonsensical parody. Like, yeah, the Canadian Gundam is a lumberjack with hatchet arms that they find up in Niagara Falls who fights the Russian dude, who's an ex-convict who beats people up with a ball and chain. Not an ex-convict, sorry, a current convict. They have a bomb strapped to him. He's a current convict.
Oh, so they're doing it like Suicide Squad style.
Yeah, just Russia, because that's how they roll. No one else is doing it in Suicide Squad. Just I like to be like, yeah, everything in G Gundam is 100% how Japan views the world. Obviously, there's no nuance here. What's media literacy? And then the funniest joke is in all the Gundams. So Gundams will rarely have America, except Gundam 00, I think.
Okay.
Instead, they'll have the Atlantic Federation, which is America after it's conquered the rest of the Atlantic area.
Makes sense.
And in Gundam Seed, the leader of the Atlantic Federation was
a...
he was a Nazi. Of course he was a Nazi.
Hmm.
He was like, naturals are superior and coordinators need to die. We need to nuke them all guy. He was some rich tech bro.
Yeah. Yeah, it's funny because it's like, I mean, obviously conversations about eugenics do still occur, but it's like, current presidents aside, we've kind of like, as an entire globe, have kind of been like, yeah, no, that's not right.
Mm-hmm.
And yet other countries still view America as being oppressive enforcers of potential eugenic policies.
Which, I mean, to be fair, America makes it real easy. When they have a literal quote, it's people don't realize how absurd they sound with what they choose to explain their own views. Woke is bad. We are against it. It is wrong. Define woke. Treating other people of equals is bad. You just outed yourself so hard. It was like I watched a review of the new Superman movie. It's like anyone who's like, I don't like Superman, it's too political. It's kind of telling on themselves because it's about a dude trying to stop people from being bad.
And people that like, oh, it's an immigrant story. It's like, that doesn't make it woke. And also that's like,
yes,
that's more like the subtext. Like that's just, he literally is an alien.
That's just the text. He is a literal illegal alien. The joke of Superman is he's the most powerful person in the world and still gets treated like shit because he's an illegal immigrant. I don't think it was a coincidence. Pretty sure that's the plot.
Yeah, but I mean, like, then people were like, oh, I don't like Superman because of that. It's like, well, you're missing out on a lot of really interesting and dynamic conversations, like, that are not about being woke.
Also, you might just be a bad person. If the idea that an immigrant wants to protect people's freedoms is bad to you, you might be a bad person. It happens. I'm not saying you're not allowed to be a bad person, but just own it. Like, don't be like, I'm a good person taking these food stamp money and using it to build a gold-plated ballroom. Literally a thing that happened is people being like, well, yeah, it's his right to have a solid gold ballroom. And I'm like, let's say it is his right to have a solid gold ballroom. Should you not still be bugged that he built a solid gold ballroom instead of doing literally anything to help anybody with that money? Just because it's not illegal for someone to do something bad doesn't therefore make the thing good. Like, if on this podcast I'm like, thank you everybody for supporting our podcast with your donations. I bought myself a Switch 2 and I'm going to enjoy it. You guys should really have more followers.
That last line.
Right? That's like what people are actually like, though. It'll be like, yeah, look at my deluxe Pokeball collection I bought. As they say that on a stream, and they're a professional streamer, which means, hey, look at these cool things I bought with your donations. I'm awesome. It's like, that's still bad. Like, I built a solid gold ballroom in the White House. He could have spent that money, I don't know, on anything else.
Okay, but so, I mean, coming back to our original topic here.
Oh, but I wanted to bitch about U.S. politics. I want to get canceled in England.
Does Pokemon have an American equivalent in their zones, do you think?
There's two for sure. So Black and White is just New York.
Yeah, okay, yeah, that makes sense.
It's like widely believed that Unova is New York.
Okay.
And then the Ora region from Coliseum feels very American Southwest coded.
Right. It's
you know,
American
like,
Midwest.
Riding through, like, there isn't a ton of, like, Arizonas around the world. So it's like, yeah, just straight up, people like to argue that America is just the Unova region outright. Which is an interesting thing, because the villain of the Unova region being PETA and animal rights is an interesting approach. I don't think they meant anything by it. And I don't even know if it's true. It's just we all widely kind of agree, the internet as a whole, that Unova is their America.
Well, I mean, most likely, given that they've always used their own naming system for their regions, it's probably just a internet coincidence that they didn't actually intend there to be any subtext there. But
yeah, it's kind of like Kalos is clearly France, Sword and Shield's clearly the UK. Like, it's not subtle.
Well, yeah, I don't know. Do you think they've started leaning into it more then?
100%. They're just going for it now. They're like asking like cultural consultants to help them design architecture to be more likely the real world area. They're just straight up going for it. I'd be doing it.
Right. X and Y is definitely based on France.
No, the UK.
X and Y?
Yeah, it's definitely England and the area around it. Oh, X and Y is France. I thought you said my brain got looped. Yes, you are correct. X and Y is France. It's not even pretending it's not. The Louvre's there, straight up.
Because I played X and Y and then got frustrated by Alpha and Omega Sapphire because they added new megas but didn't make them reverse compatible. And,
so bugged by that. Worst crime Japan's ever done.
Japan's worst crime.
Although I do really appreciate Speargrapher when they had the Americans blow up the money.
Oh man, that is a super funny. The series isn't funny, but the villain's plan to get the Japanese government to overinvest in his pharmaceutical company so he can liquidate their assets and trick America into blowing up a tower full of all of Japan's money. Oh, so and the fact that America fell for it is kind of like that's the social commentary there. It wasn't hard to get America to blow up a tower in Japan.
And yeah, it's kind of funny because like I'm trying to think of more examples of like American characters in anime, but I'm like, now my brain's just going for kids dubbing things where it's like, to throw the shade on the other foot, taking the rice balls and calling them jelly donuts. Because people couldn't understand the idea of a rice snack. Is insane. Like, the funniest thing is the Pokemon world's already fictional.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, a kid who sees a triangular rice snack and someone calls it a rice ball, first thought isn't going to be, then canceling the show. It's going to be, oh, that's probably fictional food in the fictional show.
Yeah, and then when they see an actual rice ball, they'd be like, what?
The real that's awesome. Crazy. And then, I mean, it's not real. It's funny to me that Bandit Keith had to use invisible guns. Nothing to do with our topic. I just enjoy that very much. That they left the seeds the same, but had them pointing instead of holding a gun.
Yeah.
And there was an episode that was straight up removed from Pokemon where they're in the Safari Zone and everyone just kept pulling guns on things. They're just like, nope. They did try and Americanize some names in One Piece and Pokemon and stuff as well, which is always funny when it's like, we're going to change Zolo to Zoro to Zoro to Zolo. And I'm like, you guys, just don't. One Piece is funny because they do live action One Piece. They're like, oh yeah, all these characters are different races. Oda said so. We're just going to cast whoever. And I'm like, great, perfect, 10 out of 10. And then Full Metal Alchemist live action, like, we're just going to put awful wigs on people. For the series that takes place allegedly in Germany.
Yeah, I mean, Full Metal Alchemist is also a pretty interesting example. I don't really remember if there's any specific American examples in that show, though.
No, they just did end up in Germany originally.
Right, yeah, that was the original ending of the anime where they just like, and the truth is World War II Germany. What?
I know in Shaman King, they end up in, like, Nevada, if memory serves. But it's been a while since I put thought into Shaman King.
Even though it is actually a pretty good series, it's also been done for, like, over a decade.
Yeah.
When did it finish?
That's a very good question. Like, I know the manga, like, finished, but they didn't give it an ending, and they didn't release the real ending till, like, the hardcover volumes came out. It was a whole thing.
Shaman King was serialized from 1998 to 2004. The anime adaptation ran from 2001 to 2002. And then from 2008 to 2009, they released the books, the Kanzenban edition, concluding with the true ending of the series. That is the AI post that I was complaining about earlier. So take that with a grain of salt.
That is reasonable and fair. On a different note.
But then, sorry, go ahead.
Oh, you go ahead. Sorry.
Well, I was just going to finish up saying that information is supposedly also from Reddit, which is Wikipedia before Wikipedia.
So it's kind of funny. Is like Shaman King definitely are like, here's characters from around the world because we have to do that to give them different random spirits.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
So they absolutely had characters from all over. Oh, they definitely pulled a racism, like literally naming their character Choco Love. That feels like a crime, right? Like, but then we get to other things. I remember we had a full talk about when Naruto ended. How, because it takes place in like a pseudo-Japan, steampunk America would have been interesting, or them growing their world outwards in some direction.
Yeah, it's so sad that Naruto decided not to make any comment about America, because like they even started doing the steampunk thing when in Boruto, and then just dropped it because apparently that was alien technology
Somehow.
or based on aliens. I don't know.
That drove me nuts, by the way, because the aliens
exist.
themselves weren't using any technology.
Yeah. Well, we love to complain about Boruto, but that's not really on topic.
Vaguely on topic. So vaguely. Like, I mean, the next thing I was going to go for was, like, shows like Kaiju No. 8, where they had a board meeting, and they're talking about, we've heard some countries are experimenting with using kaiju tissue with things. I'm like, is that country America, or is it Russia? And then my brother's like, wait, didn't they make the contact lenses? That country's Japan. Because, yeah, Kaiju No. 8 just straight up mentions there's an U.S. Defense Force. And I'm like, I kind of want to see that story, too.
Yeah, I am really wondering, like, obviously the author of the series is going to be taking a break, I would assume. But that was also a very apolitical focus just on one country. And he could easily expand the world outward to be talking about, kaiju in other countries, such as America or China or...
Well, we had this chat a bit about it.
Russia.
We were like, the ending was not in my top 10 anime endings. But it is the easiest to sequel point I've seen something ended in a while, because it's like, it was like how Chainsaw Man 1 Part 1 ended, where you're like, oh, the series is over. Oh, we're sequeling it and just adding some characters and going forward? Yeah, okay, sick.
Yeah, so I would definitely be really interested to see the world, to see the globe of Kaiju No. 8. And not necessarily even that these countries have to interact, because they're obviously all very busy dealing with their own kaiju problems, but
like easy side stories. It's like how original Gundam's like, we're gonna follow this Amuro and Char kid, and that was like the most mediocre 1 year war content because there's a whole war going on around the world. And it's like the side stories in the universe were probably more interesting than the main stories. Star Wars has that problem a lot, where it's like the non-Skywalker stuff is usually the best stuff by miles. The further we get from anyone who's met a Skywalker, the better the show is.
Yeah.
And then they'll ruin it by bringing it back closer to someone who specifically knew Anakin Skywalker somehow. Too many people knew... Could you imagine in the real world if, like, 1 in 10 people were a direct blood relative or associate of... Let's go with Keanu Reeves. Like, if every movie, the character was just some direct relation to John Wick in every other action movie, and they felt the need to mention it, how insane that'd be. You're just watching Taken, it's like... Yeah, my Uncle John is busy fighting a dog, so I'm here. It's like, what? And it gets so much stupider when you do it with sci-fi, and space is infinite. The odds you'd ever run into Darth Vader are zero. There is literally trillions of people in trillions of places You would never run into somebody by coincidence ever. It's like actually mathematically impossible that you would just run into Darth Vader's apprentice in space.
Yeah, that's pretty true.
Not related to our topics at all. Just needed to complain about it. Star Wars manages to be American free, which I'm fine with.
Yeah, because has Star Wars ever even gone to Earth? I don't think so. I mean,
no, nor should it.
Supposedly where humans
well, it was
are,
a long time ago in a galaxy far away. So Earth is a ramification of Star Wars. Star Wars will technically end with Adam and Eve being exiled to this planet while the universe dies. And then we're going to learn that Jesus of the Christ was Obi-Wan Kenobi's apprentice's clone.
Yeah. Gotta be a clone.
Yep. Who returned somehow. Although, I'm going to pivot to my personal random question a bit early in this episode. Because I was kind of thinking about it. What animes do you think would benefit the most from just adding America as a sequel? Having a sequel take place in America? Like, we opened with Kaiju number 8 being like, oh yeah, what's going on in America? So your job is you're given any existing anime or manga and told you need to write a spin-off sequel in America.
Oh man.
I like how I'm not choosing Canada even though we're Canadian, because that's just not reasonable.
just not reasonable.
Well, it's like I was gonna go. Bleach has their weird spin-off in England with their like Burn the Witch, and then it says on the building Soul Society East.
Oh, and Burn the Witch was a spin-off of Bleach?
Yeah, it was straight up took place in the same universe. Like they're dragons and witches and things. It's just how the power system works in England. And I love that implication that Soul Society has a Shinigami and it's this, and then in America it could just be completely different. It could be like Sasquatches and Jabberwockies and have a completely different power system. I'm like, that's hilarious. Technically, they made Ichigo's adult job being a translator as an excuse to send him to England for crossovers later.
Backstep just 1 second. Elephant in the Room, JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, specifically season 3, which takes place in like old-timey New York.
So, JoJo's, to talk America, because I don't know how JoJo's didn't get mentioned. This is worth talking about America portrayals. Cannonball Run feels like the most authentic American thing ever written out of Japan. The President being a multiversal time-traveling threat trying to collect the bones of Jesus Christ to make a super army is the most American thing imaginable. The bones of Jesus Christ being an American in America feels like the most American written thing imaginable. So JoJo's Part 2 doesn't feel like it's written by someone who doesn't understand America. It feels like it was written by somebody who does, as he's flicking Coca-Cola caps and pulling out 2 Tommy guns as a distraction for the Cape of Grenades. Also, JoJo's kind of gets a pass because it didn't have anything happen in Japan till Part 4.
Oh, yeah. Part 1 and 2 were in, well, season 1 and 2 were in England.
It went to England, then it went to America. Then Part 3 spent a week in Japan before they went to Cairo. Because it was just a road trip movie. So Japan wasn't until Part 4. Heck, Part 6 is Florida.
Yeah, that's true.
Which is why no one questioned the stand attacks, because that's just Florida. When it just started raining frogs, no one batted an eye. Like, nothing's more Florida story than person found turned upside down with their feet removed. That's not even making the front page. Front page Florida is man robs convenience store by flailing around with a crocodile. Yeah, now that I'm thinking about it, the majority of JoJo's took place in America. Or Italy. They took a break to be Italian.
That they did.
To be fair, he actually goes to the places. The newest JoJo's is in Hawaii, and everyone's just like, oh, so you had to pay for you to take a 2-year Hawaiian vacation for research, huh? JoJo's This is the only manga series I could actually see having a Canada arc.
A Canada arc. That's...
They would actually put in Canada. He's that crazy and unhinged.
Where did Black Cat take place in?
Fantasyland. I feel... Black Cat, this is a hot take. Black Cat took place in the Hunter x Hunter world.
Okay.
There is no evidence to prove me wrong, Internet. Come at me. You cannot confirm that Black Cat's fictional continent wasn't in the Hunter x Hunter world, where the enemies were literally using an artifact to gain, quote, Nen abilities, unquote. That's my hot take. Black Cat and Hunter x Hunter took place in the same world. Anywho.
L from Death Note was American?
I mean...
The first L?
I believe he identifies as a twink, legally speaking. But yeah, I think so.
No, I'm just going through all the series in the Shonen Jump app to see what stands out to me as a
where you'd like to do a sequel in America. Yeah, Black Cat was too fictional.
Fire Punch.
Meanwhile, Marshall King is American, coded, but also terrible.
Yeah, no, Marshall King is terrible.
They pulled one of those science diagrams right out of Dr. Stone, and that made me so mad. He's like, I'm going to rely on this, because that was such a specific writing device for that series. I'm like, that's not just a thing you get to use now. That was you can't have development diagrams in your fantasy setting, and me want to follow you on this one. That only works because you're using actual science. Also, Americans were just evil and Dr. Stone and used machine guns and wanted to use science to conquer the world. The only part I disagree with is that they'd be using science for it.
Yeah, that's fair.
If we have any American viewers, they have left after this one. Although most Americans that listen to me talk will just be shaking their head in deep shame.
So much My Hero stuff on here.
My Hero would actually be a pretty good one, honestly. Like, they showed, like, 3 American characters. Yeah, because we know that the main character, Vigilantes, went to America at the end of Vigilantes. So, like, he'd be there with Captain Celebrity and, like, the U.S. Marines and Star and Stripe. Star and Stripe was the most pointless added thing in My Hero, and I'm still mad about it. So they had a plot point that she comes in, right? He steals her ability, it sabotages him, and then he pawns it off on somebody. He specifically gives that power to somebody. That never came up in the ending of My Hero in any way, shape, or form. It was just a dead... They were like, we're going to introduce America to then not use America ever. And it was a bad choice, because you get to the finale and you're like, where's America then? We got a villain so powerful they destroy entire cities, and I'm like, if America knows this guy exists, that city is glass, you understand, right? I don't care how good your superpower is when you can drop sulfur fuel air bombs on people.
Okay, so the Promised Neverland actually is a pretty interesting one because they're in the alternate demon world, and then they manage to all the humans get sent back to the real world. I think an interesting sequel would be the demons reinvading the human world because they just renege on their treaty.
That would be interesting. Another interesting one to take place in America. I know this is kind of a hot take, but not really. I think a Yu-Gi-Oh series in America would be fascinating. If you give it the energy of Ping Pong Peril. Not on topic at all. Just shout out to Ping Pong Peril being Yu-Gi-Oh Season 0 unhinged. It's the first Yu-Gi-Oh spin-off I've read in a very long time that understood what made Yu-Gi-Oh good in the first place. Because it was never about the cards. And then the future Yu-Gi-Oh sequels are like, we're going to all be about the cards. I'm like, no, it was never about the cards. It was about the when I lose this card game, this anchor drags me under the ocean. It was about the I've cut in some of my cards a millimeter small, so when I look at it under the right light, the light bends around it and I know what I'm going to draw. It's the marking my cards with perfume. That's what made Yu-Gi-Oh good. Out of all the series that are currently available on Shonen Jump,
Promised Neverland was the only one that stood out to me as deserving of a sequel in America, and that's mostly just because I don't know where exactly in the world that the kids end up moving to, but the fact that they get sent to the real world primes for that sort of sequel where the demons renege on their treaty and invade.
Yeah. One Piece and Naruto. Well, Naruto, we already talked about Naruto in America. One Piece is already globetrotting.
Well, except that their globes all messed up.
Well, the thing is, they go to all these countries, but they're much softer than G Gundam, right? You go to a country in One Piece, and it doesn't strike you as being coded off a particular country, except for, like, Samurai Land.
Right.
So it's like, maybe you could say Alabasta was America coded. I don't know. It might have been. That'd be hard. But as I mentioned, I'd love to see like a completely different power system in this weird spin-off for Bleach in America.
Yeah.
Because there'd just be so many more hollows, because there's so many more people dying violent deaths.
Yeah, it could be.
And then, yeah, Pokemon just kind of, their regions are homage, so there's no reason to make Pokemon in America. They kind of already did it. 4 kids put in their best effort to make the original.
Kaiju number 8, like you said, just America kind of already exists off screen, so that'd be so easy.
It'd be sick. I'd be so many kinds on board. Sick. Like, you would just call it Kaiju number 8 America. Like, you know, America's SDF anti-kaiju force would have cool stuff going on.
Yeah, that's true.
Pretty sure they're building Jaeger robots.
Kaiju number 8 is in the Pacific Rim universe.
I would love that. So, the thing is, I've given this rant about crossovers where I love thematic crossovers and I hate Fortnite and Super Smash the Gathering crossovers, right? So, like, I've been on stream and mentioned I love that they did a Kengan Ashura Baki crossover movie where those two could be in the same universe. As I just mentioned, I would totally throw Black Cat and Hunter x Hunter in the same universe and never explain it because I can.
Right.
So it's like Godzilla and King Kong already got their crossovers, right? And if they just are like, yeah, this is the Kaiju Earth, and then in parallel on the other side of the rifts is the Pacific Rim Earth, I'm like, yeah, Kaijus come from different dimensions. I have no problem. Actually, let me rephrase. I would love a Kaiju number 8 Godzilla crossover. That would be amazing.
Yeah, that would be amazing.
I'm also on board with a Godzilla King Kong Pacific Rim crossover.
Okay, actually, stepping this back one moment, you said that Kaiju number 8's ending was not in your top 10.
Yeah, you didn't feel like it ended. I have to give a top 10 anime ending list now, don't I?
No. That seems like that would take up too much time. We've already been rambling for almost our entire hour.
That would be a full episode, wouldn't it?
It probably would. I'm assuming number 1 anime ending of all time for you would be Kaido, the right answer. That's the best.
I probably would say, if I'm being honest and non-facetious, it's a toss-up between Gundam Wing, Code Geass, and Lucifer and the Biscuit Hammer. Lucifer and the Biscuit Hammer did not deserve how good it ended. I'm like, oh, you ended this. You stuck the ending clean. Also, I hate to give credit where credit's due. I hated Attack on Titan Part 2. It ended as good as it possibly could have. Unlike Assassination Classroom, which missed the semi-ending part of having them use their alien assassinating skills to fight the evil alien and assassinate it. Just rawr. So,
Assassination Classroom does deserve a better ending, and it would be kind of cool to see it Americanized. Like,
just thinking that would actually be dope. Is like you have another squid alien in America, especially if Americans You know, I'd go as far as instead of doing like a spin-off for Assassination Classroom in America, like taking place in the same setting, I would do a reimagining, like a straight-up Netflix anime of what it would be like if Koro Sensei was American, because the education system's just so different. It would be so much harder to fix it. Japan's like, yeah, we take the problem kids and put them in the bad class so they'll have trouble getting to college. America, it's like, there's gun shucks. The easy part, like, so you know how in Assassination Classroom, most of the students are like, I don't really want to try and kill my teacher at the start? America, they would love to try and kill the teacher and would struggle hard learning.
Yeah.
Like, first episode, someone's like, these are the anti-sensei weapons. They just pull their already existing Glock and shoot him in the face.
Okay, well, so since my answer to your random question was The Promised Neverland, what is your answer to your own random question?
So, I'm annoyed because I already used up some good ones with Kaiju number 8.
Right.
I think, though, and I'm very fickle, so this answer could change by the time I finish saying it. I do think Chainsaw Man in America would be fascinating.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to say how close the Chainsaw Man is to actually ending this arc. But another arc that took place in America, especially after that bold comment about how the War Devil loves America, would be on point and super interesting.
I'm just saying, here's my pitch for the start of Chainsaw Man Season 3. So we've dealt with some of this War Devil stuff already, right? And life sucks in Japan for Denji. So we go part 2 ends, part 3. We see Denji. We see Asta, because I want her to survive this, holding hands. And in the background is the Chicago riots. And it just takes place in America.
Yeah.
The idea that they end the season by fleeing to America and then Chainsaw Man in America would just be amazing.
I don't know if Asta's going to survive this or not.
I don't know if Denji's going to survive this or not. It's Chainsaw Man.
Yeah, I was a little bit worried that he was going to be dead after, like, what was it, like 2 chapters back where he just had a spike in his head?
Well, also, like, the author, I've read some of their one-shots. They have no problem hurting me. No hesitation whatsoever.
Yeah, no.
You know what would not work?
Man,
Ryonen Kenshin in America. But it is a really good end. So Ryonen Kenshin and Kaiju number 8 had very similar endings where it's like, are you trying to set up a sequel? Because you can.
Okay, so I guess actually, like, I know I was a little bit dissatisfied with the ending of Kaiju number 8 just because of how,
no consequences,
for lack of a better term, Hollywood it became. Like, it was the Hollywood ending.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, actually, I got to go on a little side tangent here.
Beautiful. We have the time this week.
So, I don't remember if I mentioned it on this podcast or on the Dagger Art podcast, but I was on Webtoon. The little ad came up. Read the action series everybody's talking about. Ordeal.
Yep. This was on the not in this. Didn't make it into this podcast. Perfect.
So I was like, well, I mean, it says that everybody's talking about it. I might as well at least watch the trailer. And for the trailer, they just like straight up animated the first episode of the manhwa. And so it looks sick because it's about this human in a world where people have basically awakened powers, and he's trying to be the best fighter, but because he's human and the other people are like increased durability and have superpowers, is a real struggle for him. So his master gets killed. Yeah. And then there's a 4-month time skip, and we go to a tournament, which only has 2 rounds before the murderer's basically announces on live television that he's going to kill the main character because he killed the main character's master. And so then since he gets outed, the tournament shuts down, and then there's another 4-month time skip, which is one of the other reasons I dropped it, is because like 10 chapters in and there's already been 2 time skips.
Who do you think you are? Solo Leveling, the best anime of all time that won all the awards for its peak writing?
Solo Leveling had no time skips. Well, I mean, it kind of did, but that's way later, and kind of does there. Anyway, that's not really the point.
Solo
the point
Leveling
is
read like a montage.
the point of the matter is, almost immediately after reading these 10 chapters of Ordeal, having these 2 4-month time skips, I read Kaiju number 8, the final chapter, and there was a 4-month time skip.
Yep.
And I'm like, is there something special about 4-month time skips? Like, how did this come up so often?
I don't know. Like, I understand the idea of a season time skip, right? So, like, if you're going to time skip, you either go for a season or a year. So,
right.
The reason for the 4-month time skip, in my theory, and I'm just, like most things I say and do, pulling things out of my ass at random, is the idea that if you want to show something in a visual media time passing, you show the leaves on a tree, right? You show the snow. So 4 months is enough time to go from winter to summer. And then you do the 1-year time skip, and then you show them with kids that are made by taking the hair of one character in the face of another.
The breeder ending. At least Kaiju number 8 didn't do that.
You know, the worst part is I would have let Kaiju number 8 get away with that. If Kaiju number 8, the next scene was Kafka married to Asido, I would have been fine with that. Because it was kind of low-key a love story in the background, but not really. They didn't go that way. They never kissy-kissied, which is actually wild self-restraint. They might have just admired each other and been friends, which is almost impossible in manga. So it's like, they give Kafka a dope little beard thing for being in the hospital. And he runs around being spec ops. I'm like, yeah, this is a great ending for him.
Another just random side note. This LSE series. So his mentor, Caden, is like top 10 global power ranking. And the only reason he doesn't fight anyone in the course of this year where he's recovering is because he's recovering. But because he's so powerful and his skills are so unique and important, and he's teaching his apprentice, his apprentice ends up meeting the number 1 ranked awakened in South Korea, and she's a beautiful young woman. And it's just 2 attractive characters. Now they're dating.
Yep. Sure is writing in there.
I stand by my statement that after about 150 chapters, the series will lose their way, and I do genuinely feel like I'm still reading it. It's still ongoing, but I definitely feel like the LSE has lost its way.
Fair. Like, the thing about Kaiju number 8's ending is it was a non-bow ending.
50 chapters.
But it didn't lose its way at any point.
No.
And to be fair,
it did not.
The World Trigger selection arc is probably the length of Kaiju number 8.
I'm not sure if World Trigger is losing its way or not. Like, I think it's really just sticking to its gun and having a bad editor.
Well, like, to put some things back into, like, the Kaiju thing, is a while back when we got near the ending where I'm like, oh, they did their dope team up, I guess we're pretty much done here. And you're like, I don't know if we're pretty much done. I'm like, yeah, we're pretty much done, because we hit our, like, thematic conclusion. And I'm happy that we are pretty much done. But I do want them to expand laterally with the franchise. Like, I want spin-offs of this. Because it wouldn't be assholes.
Yeah. And I mean, the ramifications, like if the spin-off was Americans trying to figure out who Kaiju number 8 is.
Right? Or like I said, like, you just call it Kaiju number 8, but like, It's a hot take. The fact he turned into a kaiju was the least interesting part of his character.
Yeah.
So I'm watching through it again, and like, he would have still made it as an officer without his kaiju powers, straight up. Because he he passed that exam with his 1% power by saving people, doing data analytics, passing the test. Like, he made it in on his own, and then was being a good, useful person. And they're like, but yeah, for him to have cool fight scenes, we're going to give him a super mode. I'm like, man, if you're just the old dude doing his best, I would have been completely on board.
Yeah.
But also...
And then he could have been the man in the chair.
Well, I like to be on the field with a handgun being like, yeah, my specialty is dismantling kaiju and studying them, so I'm going to, like, do that on the battlefield. And occasionally, like, set up for my allies to... The idea of a protagonist, like, back when World Trigger was good, being, I'm a protagonist, I'm aware I'm not that good, so my job is to set up my awesome teammates. Is such a reasonable and, like, well sound out motivation and plot mechanic and, like, lesson for people.
Right. Because we've had enough of the super special boy is the best at everything ever.
Well, we say that, but solo leveling won more awards than Freerin, so writing is dead. People are dumb.
To give solo leveling some credit.
No!
Particularly Season 1, his motivation for going into the dungeon that gave him his powers, and the weight of the choice that he made, like, and he's so consistent right up to the end of that season that all he really wants is that elixir to wake up his mom.
So here's my problem
with solo
leveling.
Really strong core motivation, I think.
So here's the problem with solo leveling beating out other things. The problem with solo leveling is it's really easy to make a bad solo leveling clone.
True.
Because it's in the worst genre. The most popular genre. So it's like, solo leveling being, I won all this awards, I'm amazing, means people are going to write hundreds and thousands of solo levelings. You have no idea how many dungeon series I've seen on Webtoon. And the thing is, Freerin was harder to write. They had to draw a map. They had to name characters and interactions. They had to write 1,000 years of history before and after. They had to write an entire novel behind Freerin to be shown through snippets through Freerin, right? Like, if you told me what would be easier to write solo leveling or Freerin, I could write solo leveling. Dude with decent motivation keeps getting powered up and auraing on people. Well, following Ikasai rules that are lifted directly out of old school JRPGs. I could write solo leveling.
Right.
So it's like, solo leveling doing good is fine. I freely confess solo leveling is good. My problem is being inspired by solo leveling will create garbage. Being inspired by Freerin, being inspired by something weird like Moonrise, being inspired by Kagura Banshee means we'll get cool shit. If everyone's like, solo leveling's the best anime of all time, we don't need overpowered protagonist fights through RPG system to become have the biggest dick. We simply do not need that. So it's like, the Naruto example I love to give is a lot of things want to be Dragon Ball Z after Dragon Ball Z, right? Naruto came out, and then suddenly everyone was in 3-person squads. Right?
Yeah.
However, as a writing device, pairing 3 characters together with different motivations under a sensei to do the MacGuffin still means there's a lot of room for creativity in there, right?
Right.
Like, JJK is just Naruto and Bleach fused together. World Trigger is just sci-fi Naruto.
I can see what you're saying. Solo leveling is probably the peak of a mediocre genre.
So it's like, if Freerin won all these awards, we'd have people trying to write fantasy epics. A poorly written fantasy epic is going to be better than the second best Ikasai by a mile. Because the difference is one of them has to do work to build a world. Right? The 1970-something Record of the Lotus War holds up better than the Ikasai genre.
So there was this Devour Artifacts series. I think that's what it's called. I don't even know. There's only 3 chapters out. And it's like the characters have a status screen to check their level, and they have quests and inventories and whatever.
God, I hate it. I hate it so much.
The basic premise is that this guy, he gets his power when he's 25, but he doesn't actually figure out how to use it till he's 55. Okay. So he spends 30 years just becoming a badass swordsman. But he's really tired of being a badass swordsman because it's so much harder for him than the people who are actually using their powers effectively. And his power is to absorb artifacts and learn the skills that are in the artifact.
Okay.
Then for some reason he gets sent back 30 years in time into it. So now he's in his 25-year-old body. He has all of his swordsman skills, and now he basically has a glimpse of the future and can easily find more artifacts to become more powerful.
It's starting to go into Ikusai redo your another life subgenre territory.
Well, and then it also has dungeons. Sure.
So remember when I gave my rant the other day about the badass swordsman dude who's just an old dude from the boonies? What was it like? The old dude from the boonies is the best swordsman in the world or something? Some literal last name.
From Country Bumpkin to Master Swordsman.
I was close. And I was watching that one, and they're like, there's magic in this world. I'm like, there's literally no reason for there to be magic in this world. You gain nothing.
Well, but so the worst thing about people trying to copycat solo leveling with this dungeon mechanic, even solo leveling, it takes place in Korea, but they don't actually bother to do any world building because you just go into a dungeon instead of actually exploring the world.
Yep. It's a cop-out.
And so it's like, yeah, I've seen so many of these dungeon-style series. There's another one, which I actually do enjoy, but that's just because it has more compelling characters. But Dungeon Porter, again, they have a whole world, but they aren't actually exploring the world because they go into the dungeons.
I think part of why I throw so much shade at solo leveling, other than genre burnout, is it's easy for me to imagine ways that solo leveling would be better. So here's a hot take. We take everything that happens in solo leveling, right? But instead of dungeons, it takes place in the Hunter x Hunter world. So he's still doing everyone has their Nen powers, and his power's still leveling, trying to save his mother by doing these dangerous missions, and gets killed in a mission. But instead of portals, they're actually going places. It would just be better, in my opinion. Because there would just be a magical island of ants because.
Ants that escaped from the dungeon.
So that's kind of what always makes me complain about solo leveling. It's like, yeah, you have like the best possible production value on the best possible Ikusai. But man, oh man, would I be more excited if Berserk had a resurgence and people were trying really hard to make good stories. Because you can't half-ass Frieren.
That's true.
You simply can't. If you half-ass Frieren, you just end up with an Ikusai. So yeah, that's to summarize my rant. It's not that I'm against solo leveling. It's that I'm against solo leveling being considered the best. Because it's like, you watch solo leveling, you get hyped with it. Solo leveling will be forgotten in 5 years. Because it doesn't have anything really to say by the end of it. Like, it's sick to be in it. It's like the MCU of anime. No MCU, like, Marvel Endgame, best movie of all time, objectively. No one has it listed as their favorite movie of all time. Sales say it was. Budget and acting says it was.
Right.
That's what solo leveling is. It's like this really cool, competently assembled, decently written for what it is, but doesn't have anything more deep or meaningful to say about the world. Let's take Kaiju number 8, for example. The core message in Kaiju number 8 is really straightforward. You're never too old to put in the work and fight for what you believe in.
Right.
That's it. That is the entire message. It's not a complex message.
Well, and then also don't try and shoulder everything yourself, too.
Yeah, like, there's a big part of, it's never too late to give up on your dreams, but there's a time and place to trust those around you. So, like, yeah. Kaiju number 8, which is a great comparison to Solo Leveling, by the way, because they're both the most special boy.
Right.
But Jinwoo doesn't learn anything.
No, he does not.
He is a static character. And Richard the writer cannot tolerate a static character winning Crunchyroll's Most Interesting Character award.
Wait, the most interesting character?
He won Most Interesting Character.
Yeah, no, he's not the most interesting character. Like I say, I really appreciate the depth of his motivation and the weight of the choices that he makes, particularly early on. And even like when all the other S ranks go to Jeju Island to fight the ants, and he decides to stick back in Korea because stick back on the mainland because he wants to spend time with his mom and help her after her coma or whatever. Like, I really do think season 1, in particular, season 2 somewhat, his motivation and his character was really solid. But you are right that aside from that motivation, there's not much to him.
Because, yeah, for it to be a character, the events of the story need to change you over the course of it, right? You need to be a different person at the end than you are at the start for the story to have meant anything.
You want? I don't know about that definition there, because he literally becomes a different character at the end.
No, he becomes a different character. The character he is 10 episodes in is the character he is 200. The first 10 he goes through an arc,
I guess that's fair.
and then he stays the exact same.
Right.
Where we take something like Full Metal Alchemist, and he goes through, like, you literally watch him grow in real time. So it's like,
yeah.
To be like Solo Leveling dethrones Full Metal Alchemist as best anime of all time, like, that can't be true. Simply cannot be the world we live in. Something media literacy. Also, did nobody watch Arcane?
I don't know. I watched most of season 1, and I mean, it was beautiful. It was interesting.
Very interesting.
But it all felt kind of oddly contrived, and I didn't actually bother watching season 2.
Yeah, well. Also, I also find it some bullshit that Solo Leveling won Best New Series, when it's like, you don't get Best New Series if you're already a successful novel. That feels like some bullshit.
Well, the studio that picked up Solo Leveling is one of the contenders to pick up Kagurabachi for the anime adaptation that is expected to be announced at the end of this year.
I only want Kagurabachi to start when Solo Leveling is over. Also, Kagurabachi will beat Solo Leveling into the ground for the best anime ever if it gets the same attention to detail that Solo Leveling's anime got.
Like I said, that same studio is one of the rumored picks for a studio to actually pick it up and get it animated.
But yeah, I'm not even mad Solo Leveling won best anime. I'm mad it won best main character. That broke me. Like, the characters I would give a better main character than Sun Jin-woo. I find Mashal more compelling.
Oh, Mashal is just One Punch Man.
Yeah, Saitama is absolutely more compelling than Jin-woo at being Jin-woo.
The most special boy.
Well, like, Jin-woo is basically Bella from Twilight. Like, anyone can project themselves into being Jin-woo. That's why the series did so well. Like, it's not hard to imagine yourself being Jin-woo. For, like, literally anybody.
That's true. Yeah.
Where you cannot imagine yourself being Frieren. Like, you physically can't. I am simply not old or autistic enough. So, the original question, though, Solo Leveling in America would be great. They do mention America Hunters. Like, it's one of those worlds where I'm like, yeah, You can just see what's going on. Although, to be fair, it didn't really do much with being in Korea.
Well, aside from Jeju Island, because that's like one of their most iconic landmarks is Jeju Island.
It's a hot take, but I feel like the average viewer, if you weren't to tell them if it took place in Japan or Korea, and they watched the Japanese dubbed, would probably assume Japan until they start throwing shade at the Japanese hunters.
until the Japanese hunters show up to try and help with Jeju Island.
Yeah, the classic, I didn't realize these characters weren't the same race until a character specifically on screen told me they were different races. I see.
But do you have any other random questions for us today?
Yes. Our random questions. Okay. This one is, so you've been cursed.
Some jingles.
So you've been cursed by a Jabberwocky. And you have to choose one of two curses. You can only speak in rhymes or only dramatically whisper.
Dramatically whisper.
Oh. So what's more of a detriment? You can only speak in a whisper. Or you can only rhyme.
Oh, you can only speak in a whisper is a way bigger detriment.
But you can say whatever you want.
I mean, yeah, but I mean, only speaking in rhymes, that's just a skill you can increase over time, and your ability to lay down some sick bars would be off the charts.
So
you'd be able to grab people's hearts.
The reason I'm choosing rhymes, especially for this times, is if I'm magically forced to do it, not only would it give the average person a fit, but I can't complete this. The actual point I was trying to build up to rhyming before I caved in is if I'm magically compelled, it becomes a thing I just do. And since I'm a public-facing career, the fact I just rhyme at everything, because I can't not rhyme, would be insane as a shtick. Because that means Richard Kivas, writer, author, never doesn't rhyme would be insane.
Yeah, you know,
it's a complete commitment to a bit.
Or if you're forced to speak in iambic pentameter,
like people be like, "Is he doing it intentionally?" If someone would ask me, like, "Why are you doing it?" I'm like, "I've been cursed. It's the worst." And they'd be like, "Stop it!" and shaking me as I'm getting MRRs done to figure out what's wrong with my brain.
Yeah, so I mean, essentially, the dramatic whisper is definitely a far worse detriment. I would much rather be cursed with rhyming than whispering.
It really depends what you do, though, because part of me, like, I might have to pick whispering because I DM in things. Like, I think I actually have to pick whispering because if I can whisper loudly, it's annoying. But I don't know if I could do my job only speaking in rhymes. Like, I might just get fired. So I hate it, but like whispering, I could be like, "What happened? I inhaled fire, and this is as loud as I can talk," and then give me disability funding. It'd be harder to prove that rhyming is a disability.
Yeah, that's true.
Okay.
So you can be the whisperer, and I will be the rhymer.
Yeah, I think you could get away with it more. Oof, this one's rough. Would you rather be immortal but you're constantly aging? Or live only 30 years but in absolute peak condition?
Well...
Too real?
Oh. 30 years but in absolute peak condition. I mean, I think I would probably still go for the peak condition because... no, I'm going to be immortal but constantly aging, because that level of immortality, the fact that you're super old, is something that eventually medical scientists might just be able to help with. Like, you might just be able to ship a Theseus yourself.
See, that's what I was thinking, so I was going to pick aging. But also, I feel like it's weird. I'm almost old enough for the 30 years to be tempting. So there's a certain threshold. So if I was 40, and like, I live to 70 in a better condition than I'm in now, I'm like, So it's like, the later I am in life, the more likely I'm inclined to pick the peak condition one. Because if I was 60 right now, I'm like, my next 30 years I live like I'm in my 30s, done. So it really determines where the counter starts.
Yeah, I didn't even consider the fact that you might still have your previous life experience. I was just like, literally only live 30 years. I would rather be immortal.
I really want to know what my hands would be like if I was in peak condition. Like, how peak is this peak condition?
If it's peak condition for you, then that would just be how you were when you were 25.
For me, not actually, because I was so underweight as a kid. I think peak condition is me now.
Oh.
Actually, it might have been me.
Yeah.
I think peak condition is probably mid kitchen manager. So probably about 4 years ago was probably my peak condition. But I didn't peak to like 30s because I was like, didn't treat my body particularly well and wasn't in particularly good shape. I was not in my prime in my 20s. That was simply untrue. Gentle breeze and I was dead.
As you were a kid drinking that poisonous milk.
To be fair, I don't think anyone should be drinking milk. But yeah, it was rough.
Well, but yeah, those were some very interesting random questions. Audience members, if you keep submitting them to us, we will feature random questions until. Well, I mean, this is going to go on forever since today is the day of my consultation, so it'll never be ending.
But we both just agreed to be immortal but constantly aging. So send in those questions. There are Deep Space and Dragons mugs do exist. And
oh yeah, I have one.
Exciting things will be in the horizon. At some point, I'm always on the fence of being like, do we want more merch? What direction we want to take the show? We are so swayed by fan feedback, guys. You don't understand. You could send us a thing, be like, I need you to read the Iliad and do an episode on it. We would do it.
Yeah, that would. I do love looking up classic literature. My next classic novel I want to try and find is Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. I might have gotten that backwards, but I don't think so.
Really funny though? Me getting my master's in literature and you having read more books than me.
I don't even recommend reading Dracula. Like it's the cornerstone of vampire fantasy, and yet it's just not worth reading. It was good, but it's not worth reading.
The correct way to enjoy Dracula is absolutely to watch the animated Castlevania series. That is just the correct way to do it.
But thanks everyone for listening.
Stay hydrated, and we mostly stayed on America topic. Bye.
Mostly. Bye.
I still can't believe Baki just has a character show up being like, I would rape Elon Musk and Donald Trump. I'm like, what? There's no way this is real. Just straight up.
He actually name drops them?
It was so close to a name drop that, like, legally it wasn't. But he said the two people he met with were literally called Tramp, T-R-A-M-P, and Elso, E-L-O-S-O. And I sent you the screenshot. It was Donald Trump and Elon Musk.
That character model was definitely based on Donald Trump.
They just weren't even trying to hide it. It's kind of funny because in each Baki series, so the fourth one had Obama and Trump. The fifth one had Biden.
Yeah,
and then Trump. And then the sixth one had Trump and Elon. And they literally had a bit where Trump was excusing Biden of stealing the election, trying to talk Yujiro Hama into killing Biden. And then he just threw him. So good. Could you imagine having your manga run long enough to have commentary about every presidential election and then actually doing it? That was the main thing I wanted to talk about, was when I saw that in my feed, and I'm like, how is this possible? So good.